Good evening, councillors, staff, ladies and gentlemen in the gallery. Please be seated while Councillor Betts delivers the blessing. Thank you.
Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for the opportunity to meet together as council to consider the matters before us, and we pray that as we deliberate on these things, that in the forefront of our mind would always be the well-being of our city and its people. We give you thanks, Father, for the freedom that we have in this land, and we pray that we would contribute to the good government of our land in this way. Amen.
Thank you, Councillor Betts. Before we begin, I will acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional lands of the Whadjuk Noongar people, and we pay our respects to them, their culture, and their elders, both past, present and emerging. It is now 7:01 and I declare the meeting open. Members of the public are cautioned against taking any action on council decisions on items in which they may have an interest until such time they've seen a copy of the minutes of the meeting or have been advised in writing by city staff. Please note all council meetings are digitally recorded and live streamed on the city's YouTube channel, except for confidential agenda items, during which time the live stream will be temporarily suspended. Record of attendance. We have 2 apologies this evening, one from Councillor Dewhurst and one from Councillor Zhang. Other than that, we are all here. Are there any disclosures of interest, councillors? No. Announcements by a presiding member. I haven't got a lot to announce other than I wanted to thank the Deputy Mayor for taking over the reins while I had a couple of weeks off. Thank you very much for that, and thank you to all the councillors for supporting her in that role. So thank you very much. Reports of delegates. Are there any? No. We'll move on to question time for the public and the receiving of public statements. So question time first. We have a question from Mr. Jeff Gallup. He's not here this evening, but he has requested that he be replied to in writing, and it's just about the rates. So we'll get a response to him on that one. So first we have Corbin Witten, and it's regarding undeveloped cleared land at Gay Street and Southern River Road. If you could please come forward, Corbin, thank you. Do you need a copy of your question, or have you got it there? Okay, thank you. Turn the mic on, thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and councillors. My name is Corbin Witten, and I'm a young resident of Huntingdale. Over the past few months, I've noticed several large blocks that have been sat clear and reasonably undeveloped since the trees were removed. Specifically, lots 184 and 192 on Gay Street, lots 808 on Southern River Road, lots 9109 and 9124 also on Southern River Road, and a large subdivided precinct bounded by Gillers Approach, Madison Street, and Severn Avenue. Does the city have visibility into a timeline for these sites? And separately, are there any tree planting or reforestation programs planned to offset land clearing in growth areas like Southern River and Huntingdale?
Thank you for your question, and the Director for Planning will respond. Mr. Andrew Lafort, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Bear with me, there's a bit of information here to respond to on those sites. 184, which is lot 1484 and 192, lot 1485, Gay Street are privately owned lots and they're zoned for residential development, but there's no valid subdivision or development applications in for those, and we don't have any information regarding on when those sites will be developed in the future. Lot 9109 and 9124 Southern River Road is Bletchley Park. They do have a valid subdivision application for 90 residential lots, plus public open space, with civil works construction commencing shortly on those. Tree planting in that area will include mandatory tree planting for single houses, which is 1 small tree per lot on site, and landscaping of the public open space. In addition, the developer will be required to plant 1 tree per lot in the verge, or they can elect to pay the city a fee per lot for the city to plant and maintain verge trees in the development once houses are completed. 300, lot 808 Home Street, which is on the corner of Southern River Road, is privately owned as designated as a local centre under the Southern River 3A structure plan. The site has a valid development approval for a mixed-use commercial development that includes shops, medical centre, fast food outlets, service station, liquor store and childcare premises, but we don't have any information about when construction is going to commence on that one. The precinct bounded by Gilda's Approach, Madison Street and Severn Avenue is the city's Southern River Business Park development, which has been subdivided, and individual commercial buildings are under construction on that. For commercial development, so Lot 808 and the Southern River Business Park, each development is required to install landscaping in accordance with council policy, which includes trees to be planted on site and in the verge areas. Within Southern River Business Park, the city has installed street trees and completed planting within the swales to treat stormwater runoff as well. And planting is also ready to commence within the bushland buffer zone on Gilda's Approach. So generally speaking, the city doesn't apply specific programs to offset canopy loss because of private development across the city. However, the Green and Gosnells Urban Forest Plan does provide guidance and targets for establishing 30% tree canopy coverage on all city-owned and managed land by 2040.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question. Next we have Raphael Sear, and it's regarding junk collection.
Good evening, everyone.
Actually, I know you have 4 questions and you can ask them all. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Is there any, do I have to introduce myself? I'm first time here. No need, huh? Okay.
That's okay. Have you got a copy of your questions?
I have something here.
Did you want a copy of them?
Yeah, if you can give me.
That's all right, Lee.
Yeah, the first question is about junk collection. I think we used to have junk collection where the owner placed the junk outside the house and council, and then anybody can recycle that, which is good, huh? So that our landfill will not be, how do you say, fill up or with too much junk, and material can be recycled. People don't have to spend so much money buying new things again. So this question is asked by another resident I'm asking on behalf. So he asked, will the council consider bringing the junk collection back instead of owner sending the junk straight to the junk yard? Is it practice here?
Well, we do still offer a junk collection service. What area are you talking?
Southern River.
Southern River. So I'll just ask the Director for Infrastructure when Southern River junk collection is generally, if she knows. Maybe the Deputy Mayor knows when it is. It's generally in October, so it's coming up in a couple of months. There will be a junk collection in Southern River.
There will still be the usual, the owner place it outside.
Yes.
And then anybody feel like they can recycle it.
Yes, that's correct. You can have up to 4 cubic metres.
Okay, good, yeah.
Thank you.
The next one is the planting tree, yeah. So another resident mentioned about planting tree is good, but we should not overdo it. Especially planting trees under is a high tension cable, or areas where you need regular watering and trimming, where we have to spend money, which ultimately come to resident money. So better plant tree where there is no need maintenance. That's what the resident tried to convey.
Okay, thank you for your question. And the Director for Infrastructure has got a copy of your question and she's going to respond. Her name is Cherie Edmondson. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the tree has a commitment to providing residents with a healthy tree canopy, and the purpose of that is to deliver adequate shading and environmental benefits to the community. So the approach is informed by the city's Green and Gosnells Urban Forest Plan, and that provides a target of 2,500 mature tree plantings per year, with the aim of achieving a 30% tree canopy for city-owned and managed land by 2040. So that's the reason for the plantings that are being conducted. In terms of the way that we develop our tree planting programs, consideration is given to selecting appropriate tree species based on the location for the reasons that you've just described around the maintenance requirements. And we also review the site conditions to ensure that we are considering appropriate species selection, and that is to mitigate the ongoing maintenance requirements where possible. Although we do note that there may be trees that have been planted historically that the city maintains that may have a higher maintenance requirement.
Mr Sear, just so you're aware, the responses that the staff are giving you will be in the minutes of the meeting. Also, you can re-watch it online if you need
Can I ask a few questions?
You have a follow-up question? What would that be?
You mentioned about 2,500 trees per year you plant?
Across the city.
The council plant. And who does the planting?
Thank you. The city does the planting on that.
Is it the contractor or the city staff?
It's a blend, a bit of both.
Or both?
It's some of the council contractors and some of city staff. Can I ask you to move on to your next question, please? Thank you.
The next one is, basically we are, I and my group of friends who are residing here, we want to know how the council award contracts.
Okay. That's a very broad question, but contracts are generally done under tender, but I'll ask the CEO if he has anything further to add to that. Or, yeah, thank you.
Madam Mayor, it's high-value contracts are required to be tendered, but we'll use other procurement methods for lower-level contracting.
Can you speak louder?
So he's just saying that most of the contracts are awarded via tender, so go out for public process, and then they're awarded via a tender process.
So to a tendering process?
Yes.
To a list of bidders, and then public bidding. It's not direct award.
Correct. There is whoever's going to put in for the tender, they will get all the documentations from the city and they'll work out what's needed, then they'll put their price to the city, and that'll be compared to everyone else that's put a tender in. And then the council will generally vote on who wins the tender.
And what type of technical evaluation process do you do?
I missed the question, sorry.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, we will evaluate. We've got experts in the particular areas, and they will do technical evaluations of the tenders that are received.
No, from what I know,
It's all right. I'm going to have to ask you to accept the answer because we don't have time to go.
No, let me make one statement.
Yes, go ahead.
What I'm used to is a technical evaluation.
Yes.
When they pass the technical evaluation, then those that pass, the commercial will be open. And then the award will be to the lowest bidder.
It's not necessarily to the lowest bidder, it's to whoever the city and the councils believe will be able to offer the best service. I'm happy to email you a copy of a recent tender so you can see how that evaluation process works, so you can see what categories are evaluated.
If you have done the technical evaluation, means the contractor is qualified to do the job.
That's part of the evaluation.
And then you evaluate the commercial evaluation, the lowest bidder, that is good enough. Why do you have to...
Look, each tender has a different outcome, so I would have to consider every one of the tenders to see which one you're talking about. But generally, it's to the best person that can do the best job. So I'll ask you to move on to your next question. We're happy to discuss this.
No, I want to say some more thing. I think it's wrong that you try to award to somebody do the best job. If you have done the technical first, then the commercial, you should award to the lowest commercial.
I would say that most of the time it does go to the lowest person, but they still have to have met the criteria.
Because
I can't have you keep going backwards and forwards on this, sir, because this is a chamber and you need to ask the questions accordingly.
Every year we have to pay 2,000, 3,000, council rate.
Yeah, I'm happy to have a one-on-one meeting with you to discuss this further. I can reach out to you, but we do need to have our meeting this evening, so I will ask you to move on to your next question.
Yeah. The next question is about the council spraying Roundup on wheat.
Yep.
It's an environmental pollution, and and Roundup is very toxic. There have been many court cases in US against Monsanto, and many people have got cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So, and if you spray on the ground, the rain come, the Roundup go into the maybe underground water reservoir, contaminate it, or it wash into the river, and all the marine life are contaminated. And then we eat the fish, we also get contaminated. So the question is, would the council consider not using Roundup?
Thank you for your question, and the Director for Infrastructure has once again had a copy of your question and is able to give you a detailed response to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The City recently reviewed its use of herbicides in December 2025, and that was in response to a petition that requested that the City cease their application. The item was considered by Council, who supported the continuation of the City's integrated weed management approach, and that approach deploys a range of both chemical, manual and mechanical control methods for weed removal. The City assesses the effectiveness, cost and safety outcomes of different weed control methods with herbicides that include glyphosate, demonstrating their ability to effectively balance these requirements within an urban environment. Their use is guided by the Australian Pesticides and Veterinary Medicines Authority and manufacturer instructions, which are followed by City staff and contractors in its use. To further support the community, the City also uses marker dyes, on-site signage and maintains a no-spray register for individual residents wishing to avoid the application of herbicides near their property. The use of herbicides is also limited near playground areas. At this point in time, glyphosate remains as one of several supported forms of weed control methods deployed by the City, with alternative treatments and products reviewed as they become available.
Thank you. Thank you for your questions. I'll reach out to you for a meeting if you like. You can bring your friends too.
Yeah, I like to, because we like to know how you do things here. I'm new here, so...
Yep. We really appreciate you coming. We do have a structured way that we run this meeting.
Yeah, because what you do affect our pocket.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you will reach out to me.
Yes, I believe I have your details. I will get someone to email you for a meeting.
Yeah, and then we can set up a meeting. We can sit down.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next we have Kylie, and it's regarding the assessment of clearing the black cockatoo habitat.
Hey, sorry for bringing the question in late, not giving you the chance to prepare a response for it. So this is regarding item 13.2.1, but it's also speaking more generally to the way that development is being assessed. So I noticed that for this development, the DBCA pointed out that there's a cockatoo breeding site 700 metres from the amendment area and a known roost 3 kilometres from it. The area within 6 kilometres of a breeding site is really, really critical for the successful raising of the cockatoo chicks.
Sorry, Kylie, I'll just let councillors know this is regarding item 13.2.1 on the agenda.
Yes.
Carry on.
So my question in relation to, so the DBCA said that they recommended that the City look at opportunities to retain areas of cockatoo habitat within that amendment area, and I noticed that the City hasn't done that, and instead they've said that they're going to assess things on a development subdivision application process, which I assume means it's on a application by application. So I've got 2 questions in relation to this. The first is, how does the City assess impacts to cockatoo habitat during development and subdivision?
Yep, thank you for your question. Mr Lafort will respond to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The City assesses development applications and subdivision applications on the mapped roosting areas. So if a property has a mapped roosting or breeding ground for black cockatoos, we will have our internal environmental team review the application, and then we'll refer the application to the relevant government authorities. But that's only where the habitat is mapped. If it's not mapped, we generally don't make an assessment and don't have that level of information.
Thank you. Your next question.
How are the cumulative impacts addressed when you're assessing on a by-application process rather than looking at a strategic plan?
Thank you. Do you have a...
Thank you, Madam Mayor. With regards to the amendment area, this area has been identified for infill development, and it's contained in the city's local planning policy for infill development as a future residential zone. The area wasn't considered as part of local planning scheme 24 because there was some concern that some extra work needed to happen, so it was kept at a very low density of 17.5. Now, with the subdivision guide plan, the city believes that it's now in a position to be able to have that density increased and be able to achieve the objectives of infill development as contained in council's policy.
Oh, sorry, I don't think I worded that question very well. I meant, how do you assess cumulative impacts to cockatoo habitat when you are looking on a case-by-case application?
Okay.
So across a broader area.
Yeah, it's that kind of death by 1,000 cuts that, you know, taking out this tree doesn't matter and taking out this tree doesn't matter, but when you've done that 1,000 times.
Yeah, we'll take that one on notice because there might be a little bit more research in the background to look at that one.
Yeah, completely understand.
The environmental team.
This isn't a question, it's just raising a point. The DBCA, they've recently pulled all of their data sets down from the public server. Just your environmental people might not have access to whatever DBCA is currently using since it's not public anymore. I just thought I'd flag
thanks for that information. Thank you very much.
How do I turn this off? Is the
thanks.
left one? Okay.
Thank you. There are no further questions and there are no public statements this evening. So we'll move on to the confirmation of the minutes. Can I get a mover for that, please? Councillor Mason to move that, seconded by Councillor Sislak. Are there any questions on the minutes, councillors? No? If you would like to cast your vote, thank you. Oh. Thank you. That has been carried. We'll move on to the receiving of the petitions and presentations. Are there any? No? Thank you. Applications of leave of absence. I have one application for leave of absence from Councillor Mason, seeking leave of absence from the 8th of the 8th to the 8th of the 8th. Sorry, 8th of the 9th to the 8th of the 9th. I'm going to travel back in time. Which includes the ordinary council meeting on the 8th of the 9th, and it's for personal reasons. Can I get a mover for that, please? Councillor Sajad to move that, Councillor Lloyd to second that. Councillors, if you could please cast your vote on that leave of absence. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. I'll now move on to, there are no questions of which due notice has been given and no need to bring anything forward. So we'll move on to item number from the Planning and Development, 13.2.1, the amendment to number 4 to Local Planning Scheme number 24, rezoning area bounded by Railway Parade, Yule Brook, Streatham Street and Ladywell Street in Beckenham, finalisation. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Adams to move this and Councillor Saiful Islam to second this. Thank you. Any debate? Any debate or any questions, councillors? Deputy Mayor, Councillor Williamson, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just have a question. The question relates to the feedback received from Department of Health regarding climate resilient design. Could I please find out a bit more about that and whether the city can actually do that?
Thank you, and thank you for that, Mr Lafort. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There is an issue in councils developing their own design guidelines for climate resilient housing design. We're bound by the residential design codes, and that allows housings to be exempt from planning approval if it complies with the deemed to comply requirements of the state government. Likewise, with building construction, we're bound to the National Construction Code, which has its own energy efficiency and other requirements. So it would be quite problematic to come up with design guidelines that can't actually be implemented from a state and national level.
Thank you. Thank you. Follow-up question. Thank you.
Yes, I just have an additional question in relation to, it was in relation to the buffer zones for the Yule Brook, the setback to Yule Brook. Can I please find out whether that has been considered and what the implications or outcome were? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ford.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's no planning requirements as far as we're aware for any setbacks to that. But having said that, once we get planning, development approval or subdivision applications in, if it is abutting the brook, we would make a referral to the relevant agency, which is that one in that regard, the Water Corporation. But the city is not aware of any specific setback requirements for that, but we would deal with it on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you. And I just have a question as well, just to follow on from the question from the gallery regarding the loss of black cockatoo habitat. And I note that it says here that any proposals that involve the removal of potential cockatoo breeding or feeding trees will be assessed by the city as part of the development and or subdivision application process. Is that something that we do to all of our applications, or is that something that we just do where we note that there's a breeding or a black cockatoo habitat nearby?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We'll only do it where it's mapped in the system for a breeding cockatoo habitat or roosting area. So if it's not mapped, it's just a tree on any relevant property, we don't require that level of information at a development application stage.
Okay, but this particular application, it will be looked at because it's within that proximity to a roost site, or?
We don't do a separate assessment for that, and we don't do a referral to DBCA on all development that is in proximity, because that would be pretty much, there would be almost every site.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Any further questions, councillors? Councillor Mason, thank you.
So just following on from that, so if we were to adopt a strategy for the retention of the cockatoos, could that be retrospectively applied to this rezoning or any applications that come through there?
Thank you, and thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We wouldn't be able to apply anything like that retrospectively. So the rezoning would happen to go to R30, that would be the new residential design code. Any policy or any position that came through would only be then applicable to development applications or subdivision applications that followed.
Thank you. Any further questions, councillors? Councillors, if you would like to cast your vote on this item, thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. We'll now move on to 13.2.2, the draft modified local planning policy 1.2, rural development adoption for advertising. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Islam to move this and Councillor Dalton to second this. Councillor Islam, would you like to speak to this item? Councillor Dalton, would anybody else like to speak to this item? No. Councillors, if you would like to cast your vote, thank you. Thank you, that has been carried. I do note that we have a proposed deferral here for items 13.3.1, which is the proposed extension of licence for a portion of Homestead Park Centre to the Australian Arab Association Incorporated, along with 13.3.2, the proposed extension of the lease for the Percy, Garrett Pavilion to the Gosnells Football and Sports Club Incorporated, and the 13.3.3 proposed extension of licence for the storeroom with the Tom Bateman Reserve 2 Pavilion to Thornley Football and Sports Club Incorporated. If there are no objections, councillors, I would like to move all three of those items en bloc. If there is no objections, I'm seeking a mover to move all items en bloc. Thank you, Councillor Sislak, and seconded by Councillor Adams. Councillor Sislak, would you like to speak? You can't, yeah, actually, Councillor Adams, no. Councillor Islam, you wanting to move the deferral?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I, Councillor Saiful Islam, propose the following: that the motion be deferred until a review of Council's policy on leasing has been completed for the following reasons. There has been previous discussion about the need to review the city's policy on leasing to more clearly articulate when a lease or license to occupy city property should be granted and under what conditions. As such, these leases should be held over until that review been completed.
Seeking a seconder. Councillor Lloyd to second that. Councillor Islam, would you like to speak further? There's
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
debate, councillors.
There is no concern about these community groups or clubs or their current tenancies. My concern is that we are being asked to make a decision on a further term while the city is still developing a tenancy assessment policy. At the moment, we do not have a clear and consistent policy to guide council when deciding whether a tenancy should be extended. I believe we should develop the rules first and then make the decision. Deferring this item will allow council to consider this tenancy and future tenancies against the same clear and consistent criteria. So I'm not proposing that we reject the tenancy. I'm simply asking that we pause the decision until the appropriate policy framework is in place. This will help ensure the process is fair, transparent, and consistent for every community group.
Thank you, Councillor Islam. There's no debate on this, councillors, so if you would like to cast your vote on deferring the items. Thank you, that has been carried. We'll now move on to item number 13.5.1, the budget variations for improvements to Pinaster Park. Seeking a mover for this, Councillor Mason to move this and Councillor Singh to second this. Thank you. Councillor Mason, would you like to speak to this item? Thank you.
So I support the nature and the spirit of the report and the development of the increase in the improved amenity that the residents have come to expect from this park. I do have slight reservations regarding the amount of allocated funds, whether or not this will be sufficient for the project to be adequately completed. So I think that will be a bit of a concern, but in the spirit of it, I do support the increase and the improvements to the park.
Thank you, Councillor Mason. Councillor Singh, would you like to speak to this item? Thank you.
I got a motion.
Yes, thank you. You've got an amendment?
Yes.
Yep. Thank you. If you would like to read out your amendment.
I, Councillor Bali Singh, propose the following, that the staff recommendation to amend to increase the value of the budget variation from 20,000 to 40,000. For the following reason, to allow the sufficient fund to provide the additional seats, sitting and drink fountain, as well as other appropriate amenities.
Thank you. Seeking a seconder. Councillor, Deputy Mayor Councillor Williamson's happy to second that. Would you like to speak further on this?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I request Council please support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor, would you like to speak to this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As seconder for the amendment, I would like to ask Council to support the amendment. This park is a neighbourhood park and the level of amenity at the park doesn't quite meet what would be considered a neighbourhood standard. I think increasing the budget slightly will allow a few extra items to be delivered in the park that will increase the amenity for the local community. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Is there any further debate on this item or any questions? Councillor Islam, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Can I just confirm for the benefit of all the residents who's watching online or here as well, is the extra, I guess not extra, all 40,000 that we are spending or proposing to spend not costing to the ratepayers, rather is coming from DCP fund? Thank you.
Yes, that is correct. Correct, thank you. Any further questions or debate? Councillor Singh, would you like to close the debate? Thank you. No? Okay, councillors, if you would like to vote on the amendment, which is to increase the money from 20,000 to 40,000. Thank you. Thank you, councillors. That has been carried. We'll now put that amendment back with the original item. Is there any further questions or debate on the original item, councillors? Councillor Betts, thank you.
I think just for the public record, for anybody that's listening online to understand how can we spend money without it costing ratepayers money, it just should be noted that it comes out of the I think Common Infrastructure Fund, I think it's called.
Developer Contribution Plan.
sorry, what fund?
Developer contribution.
That's right, Development Contribution Fund for that area, and the developers all contribute to that, and the interest that's earned on the funds that is held in trust can be used for this type of work. And while there's a significant sum of money left in that account, and so this $40,000 will be drawn from the interest that fund has earned, so it won't actually cost ratepayers any money. That's how it kind of works. I thought it'd be good to put that on the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Betts. Any further questions or debate, councillors? No, if you would like to cast your vote on the amended item, thank you. Thank you, that has been carried. There are no motion of which previous notice has been given. There is no urgent business, but we do have a confidential matter, so I am seeking a mover to close the meeting. Deputy Mayor, happy to move that, and Councillor Mason to second that. Councillors, if you please cast your vote on closing the meeting. Thank you. Thank you, that has been carried. Ladies and gentlemen in the gallery, we do have a confidential item to address right now, so you are welcome to wait outside, although it is a bit cold. I'm not sure how long this item will go for, but I thank you for coming this evening, and I look forward to seeing you again soon, and thank you very much.